A journalist calling at times is to report from the front lines, shadowed by the security forces. But this time, not even the journalists were spared from a police engaging in running battles with protesters.
When we arrived here, we also met hostility from the youth who are accusing the media that they've gone silent, whereas they've been actually undergoing torture entire night. So that is the situation that we are sort of encountering here. And if I can just turn this way, or if we can move this way, turn this way with me, that is a police vehicle, the two land police, administration police and regular with a convoy, actually a convoy that is driving in. That is the situation here. So this is Karanja Road. This is Karanja Road. The top, I think 3 lorries that are moving in. The police have actually made it clear to the media that no going beyond this. And I think they are going to ferry the officers that have repulsed the youth. Yes, the police don't want the press near them. You can see now it's the press that is being tear gassed by police officers. That is, the police actually don't want the media to go past this point. Now you can see now it's the media that is being tear gas being fired at the media. But we will try to stretch our luck a bit more beyond this point. You've seen the kind of hostility that the media is getting from security detail that is on the ground. And as you can see, a buffer zone has been created there. You can be able to see the international media coming down. Unfortunately or fortunately, we were the only Kenyan media that was courageous enough to start reporting on the post-declaration of the presidential results events. So we were the only ones. Now everybody was on our case. Why are we not on the ground, or why has the media been silent? But immediately in the morning we started that assignment. Then when the police came for us, it was a shocker because I didn't anticipate that they'd be stopping us to do our job, which is basically to give an update on what is happening as of that moment. Apparently there was pressure from the government that no media should do live coverage, more so because they didn't know what would happen. There are some that were of the opinion that doing live coverage, showing people who are protesting, it might trigger off the same, that people might see what is happening elsewhere, then decide that they also want to do the same. Immediately when we started, first of all, there's a police officer that actually fired a tear gas canister my direction, and we were live. In fact, at some point, I think I had to jump over. Then my cameraman, David Otieno, was focused on what was going on. Then there was that tear gas smoke that actually engulfed us. So we had to give a chase, and they warned us against following them. But we thought just the normal scare tactic. So we gave chase. As they gave chase, we equally gave chase. So that we had the protesters, the police in the middle, then we followed. So we were told that we can only do updates, and we didn't know why.
On this day, Kenyans on social media did not empathize with the media, whom they accused of having moved on with life as usual. Yet the previous night, residents in Kibra, Mathare, Kisumu, among other perceived opposition strongholds, had spent nights, gunshots and helicopter sights and sounds punctuating the expected calm overnight.
Probably the media was a bit overwhelmed because they just did not know what not to cover or what to cover. And basically that was because the main reason was there were so many fiats that were given to the media during the coverage of the elections. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. So I think there was also some kind of fear.
Kenyan media continue to be under fierce criticism, particularly because foreign media never missed the story on this.
These angry men tell us police used live bullets to intimidate them.
Why are they using excessive bullets?
This man is recuperating in a nearby hospital. He was badly beaten. 3 others here have gunshot wounds. Martin Otieno says his brother was shot by police.
He fell after he was shot. He was crying and bleeding, but no one could help him because we all ran. When the police left, we came back.
Unconfirmed reports say 3 people have died, but Acting Interior Minister Dr. Fred Matiang'i is adamant that nobody has been killed and no live ammunition have been used on those protesters. Our East Africa correspondent Sarah Kimani has just returned from Kibera in Nairobi, where police are engaging with protesters in running battle, and she joins me now this afternoon. A very good afternoon to you again, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the situation in Kibera currently?
As we speak now, Kibera is on fire. Police and protesters have been engaged in running battles since very early in the morning. In fact, it started last night. And those police who are there are using live ammunition indeed, because we have proof in our pictures. They're firing tear gas, and also they're using water cannons.
The Fourth Estate was accused of either being silenced by some external influence or being under unnecessary self-censorship.
That is where I say there's a thin line between free media and controlled media. They are free on paper, but not free per se. Efforts were being made left, right, center to stop us from going on with that particular live broadcast. And before our arrest, remember, we had reached a compromise that we'll only be doing top-of-the-hour updates. So that was actually the last time we were going live. So we had already made it clear that we'll not do continuous because the pressure was too much. So we had to sort of oblige. We were only to do top-of-the-hour coverage, but that unfortunately did not happen because immediately I received the final instructions. They came for me.
The postings were being made that these things were happening in some areas which probably we could not access at that time, because most of this, like informal settlements and all that, we could not access them at that time because of lack of security or poor security. So I don't know whether probably the media, maybe we needed to be given more security, or media houses needed to work on providing security to the journalists. Maybe we could have covered it.
Lessons from the 2007-2008 post-election violence came alive in the newsrooms as editors grappled with the options of airing events as they unfolded and risk fanning the flames, or ignore the whole ordeal and hope it was a transient and bad wind.
We tried to separate the chaff from the truth, though maybe by that time we had been called enough names by so many people on social media that actually we did not do it well in time. But you see, we are a newspaper. I mean, we can only do something 24 hours later.
I am grateful, and we have to be very honest as public servants and tell you this. We are sincerely grateful to most of our mainstream media in Kenya. We have seen a measure of responsibility. A number of senior editors have called us this morning from several media houses to clarify certain things, either they're hearing or certain things they're seeing on social media. And we have been forthright, available, and totally honest in explaining the information we have and how we have dealt with the situations.
That statement seemed to vindicate those that had strong beliefs that the media was in bed with the government. But mainstream media soon caught up and when put to task about police brutality. In an interview with NTV, the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, had a jaw-dropping answer.
A 6-month-old baby, Samantha Pendo, was killed as part of an operation to quell post-election demonstrations in Kisumu. What do you have to say about the death of baby Pendo?
Very regrettable, but it's a matter that we are investigating, and I'm certain we'll get to the bottom of that matter.
It's been more than a month. How deep are you in this getting to the bottom of this matter?
The latest brief I got from this year is that there was a bit of a delay, actually a lot of delay, occasion not from our part, but very sadly and understandably so on the part of the parents, because they were traumatized and could not come forward to record statements, which we have done in a few days ago. So the process is ongoing and we'll get to the bottom of that matter.
6 months old, killed by anti-riot police. How does that make you feel?
I don't think, well, but as a human being, I don't believe any sane police officer would hit a 6-month-old baby as it is put out in the public. But let the investigators get to the
There are
to
facts to that incident, Inspector General, and I think it will be important.
I don't have those facts.
It will be important to stick to the facts on this matter. Policemen went to the home of the parents of this child, and one of them, using a baton, struck the mother who was carrying a baby on the back.
I don't have those facts. I'll wait for the investigators to
You
find.
do have these facts,
I don't.
Inspector
I
General.
don't. If I had, I'll tell you. Why should I hide?
So what are you investigating?
The circumstances under which, as required by the law, that death occurred.
Do you accept that this also is a very dark illustration of police brutality?
I don't understand what you mean by police brutality.
From what Kenyans see on social media and mainstream media, it has become almost impossible to differentiate a protester and a looter, or police maintaining peace and police using excessive force being brutal. Fast forward to September, and the media is overtaken by the ground-shifting Supreme petition, and it was almost business as usual until October. The famed no reforms, no elections protest called by the NASA team took center stage. Bullets, clobbering and tear gas befell anyone on its way, yet again, child or adult, on the streets or in school.
First of all, as a parent, I am deeply pained and very sorry. As I said to every parent, and me included, the worst thing that you don't want to think about in your life is losing a child or having to be forced to bury a child. We are deeply sorry about what happened on that particular night. But what is horrific to me is how everyone made conclusions, jumped to one side of the divide on the issues, demonized the police. I was actually even said to have ordered the police to shoot and kill. Before you get the report, everyone was in town, including politicians, calling all of us names, condemning the police, doing what have you. None of those people are talking, none of them has addressed the case of the woman who was being raped near Carnival, where 2 people were shot dead. 2 of the rapists were shot dead when they tried to resist arrest, and they shot back at the police. None of them talks about the hardware in Mathare that was being broken into, and the 3 people who shot at the police when they were being arrested. None of them has talked about the 25 kiosks that were burnt in Kisumu. None of them has talked about the shop that was being broken into in Maseno. None of them has said about this poor woman who was being raped in Kisumu, and the police went to rescue them. As the police were trying to rescue, some of those people who were guarding the rapists shot back at the police. So it's a question of looking at one side and saying, the police committed murder, they are this and so on. Where was the minister? We have to be methodical.
Out of all these incidents that the acting Interior CS mentioned, only one made it to the media, that of 2 people shot along Mombasa Road. Whether they were rapists or not, like the other stories, remain unsubstantiated. The 2010 Constitution put in place a whole new human rights regime. In fact, the name of the police changed from a force to a service. But critics say the police are increasingly reverting to that old order where the use of force was the default setting. And the uncertainty in the country means the men and women in uniform will continue to be under public scrutiny. Dr. Mercy Korir, KTN News.